City Weekly readers have long sought out our street boxes for What's Inside, a weekly newspaper covering local news, arts, and entertainment. Now they have a new reason to look for our boxes: public art. City Weekly commissioned 10 local artists to turn once nondescript black street boxes into beautiful works of art to be displayed throughout Salt Lake City. Meet our next 3 artists.
I am just an experimental artist. I don't try to fashion my art to be urban, you know. I don't try to fashion my art to be, you know, strictly technical and like, you know, traditional. I just am experimenting with styles that I enjoy, and that is influenced by graffiti, and it's influenced by Norman Rockwell, you know, like cheesy art, and it's influenced by, you know, just, it's influenced by everything that I enjoy.
Did you get that picture of MacGyver I sent you?
Yeah, I did.
Are you going to draw that?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, cool. Do I have paint all over me? Yes, always. You know, started pulling out markers and this and that, and met this dude that wrote Acker at the time. You know, he started asking me what I liked about graffiti, and I had this usual, I call it the stock answer these days, but I like graffiti art. I like murals. I don't like scribbles. I don't like the scribbles on the walls. You know, and I'm trying to sound real stock right now, but what they're talking about is murals to pieces. And I told him the same thing. I don't really like tagging, you know, and he's like, I challenge you for the first year to not, the first year you're involved. He could tell I was going to just turn around and start painting shit, you know. He's like, the first year you do it, you don't do a single tag, everything has 2 colors or more, I'll give you 40 cans at the end of the year. And he did. So I got obsessed with graffiti art.
I was kind of thinking Citizen Kane or William Randolph Hearst or something like that, but then I thought, well, that would kind of be projecting a negative, like, antagonist in the position of City Weekly, and they probably wouldn't like that, and that's not what I was trying to do anyway. I was just thinking like media moguls and tycoons and stuff. Then I thought about that Newsies movie, the Disney one, right? Such a good movie. And we just put our heads together. I got all these images of old newsboys from the late 1800s, and that's kind of the theme. So we're running wild with like extra, read all about it, and you know, little 12-year-old news kids smoking cigarettes. We won't have them smoking, but you know, just those little rough boys that give everyone the news.
I'm originally from Salt Lake City. I didn't quite embrace it for my first, 30 years, no. And I moved to Southern California for 8.5 years, and recently moved back in 2006. You know, I think sometimes people take art too seriously, and I wanted something to play with and to lighten up the mood, and it was something that was part of my childhood, and it was also a challenge from a professor now many years ago who had said, you know, can you do something a little bit lighter and how about a little bit larger? And so I started with this huge painting of a Mr. Potato Head that was Idaho Gothic, American Gothic, with potato heads. And it became this conversation piece. Everybody was like, oh, hey, what you need to do is this. And so we kind of ran with that, and any conversation or any time I have them out, it's always such a conversation piece, and oh, you know what you should do. And so I decided to kind of run with it for a little while. I found barbed wire to be interesting, and I thought it would be fun to kind of incorporate it. It's such a hard metal, and yet, you know, it's got this purpose of keeping someone out, and this distance, and it's cold and in material basically, and I think it's kind of a good juxtaposition to the whimsical side, and hopefully I can collaborate at least 2 or 3 different elements. But again, I'm kind of leaving it to, I know where I want to start, and from there I'm going to see how it develops and which direction it wants to unfold.
You can follow City Weekly's Out of the Box art project on cityweekly.net. Then look out for our 10 street boxes on display at the main library's Urban Room during the 2011 Utah Arts Festival. We'll reveal their permanent post-festival home.